Alrighty, so all the game for match week number 31 is in the books, and you notice I am actually being very quiet right now because it's actually midnight right now in the East Coast. And you know how before I talk about in the review of how I feel bad for people in the East Coast of the fact that, the last game usually finished like around midnight or past midnight, and especially being on a Sunday, that must be very tough. Well, I'm basically living that right now. I mean, this is definitely not fun. The fact that the last game didn't finish until midnight, I have to stay this late to watch the last game, and I could have done the review of both of these games tomorrow, but since I'm flying out of New York and going down to Miami tomorrow, I just thought that it's best to just kind of get this review over with, even though I am kind of also extremely tired, and also, as I said, I cannot speak very loudly because my friend and also their parents is currently sleeping right now. But let us begin with talking about the first game of these two games that happened on Sunday, and we start off with the New York Derby. And like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this game because me and my friends was kind of going out a lot in this one, and we just could really had the time to, of course, attend this one. But in the end, in this New York Derby, it was the Red Bulls getting a big 1-0 win against NYCFC, and it is pretty clear that the Red Bulls are coming. Like, they are not only having a crazy resurgence to basically get themselves in the playoff hunt, they are currently in the playoff hunt. They're only 1 point behind both Montreal and DC United in terms of those final two spots in the Eastern Conference. And they kind of got off to a good start in this game, but first I kind of want to mention the fact that there was actually a lot of empty seats at Red Bull Arena in the beginning of this game. Now, I'm guessing maybe that's because of the fact that, people were still kind of getting into the game, and not to mention the fact that the Giants also play today. So obviously, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of New Yorkers and a lot of fans from both the Red Bulls and NYCFC kind of opted to go to the Giants game instead of going to this one. Though that being said, I feel like they probably should have went to this one instead because this is a derby. I mean, when you have to choose American football over soccer, usually it's American football first. But when you're in a derby like this, I feel like people should have chose this one too. But there was a lot of empty seats, even though I think at one point John Champion mentioned there's going to be a record amount of fans attending this one, and there was expected to be 18,000 fans attending this game. And overall, the lower bowl eventually did kind of got a little packed, but it was still not really like fully packing, and I saw a lot of empty blue seats, and it's again kind of disappointing to see because for a derby that is like this one, you would expect that there should be more fans attending this one, and it's hard to believe that when this derby started that there was like 40,000 fans that actually attend this game in one game. And even though that was at Yankee Stadium, I think previously there was also like 22,000 fans, and it's kind of maybe a little bit disappointing the fact that there was only 18,000 fans attended this one, even though when you look on the broadcast, it definitely did not look like it was 18,000. It looked like the stadium was clearly half empty. But like I said, the Red Bulls got off to a quick start as Caceres Jr. would score from Reyes to give the Red Bulls a 1-0 lead, and yeah, that was just not good defending from NYCFC there. And set piece defending would be a problem for this team early because I thought later on the Red Bulls not only were on the front foot early, though I would say that NYCFC did have a chance in the ninth minute when Castellanos actually went through on goal, but unfortunately he was caught in an offside position, and then he kind of tried to scissor kicks a shot in the 13th minute, but just kind of completely miss it. I mean, Tati Castellanos, knowing what he has done this season, it's kind of unsurprising that he decided to try that because he is such a technically gifted kind of player, and he's definitely not shy away from all those kind of acrobatic shots that we've seen. Although I will say that he did had a bit of an embarrassing moment where I think there was at one point of the game where he kind of got swiped in the eye and he basically just went down on the ground. And I couldn't kind of hold my laughter out of that because it's like, yep, that's classic Tati Castellanos, because we know that he is a guy that is always the master of the dark arts, and whether he does it well or in this case it was pretty embarrassing the way that he did it. It just kind of makes me feel like, yeah, he's not helping himself in terms of being really the villain of this New York derby. But that being said, after a slow start to this game, I thought NYCFC started to come back into this one. But then in the 19th minute, Nealis had a shot that was blocked by his own teammate Drew Yearwood, and that was kind of unfortunate situation where sometimes you see a player put a shot that looks like it was going on goal, but his own teammate kind of got out of the way, or weren't able to get out of the way, and that was the case in this situation with Drew Yearwood. But that also kind of came from a set piece, and this is when I kind of wrote that the set piece defending from NYCFC was very suspect, and they were just letting the Red Bulls have a lot of good space to basically score on the set piece. But as the halves kind of wind down, things kind of started to become tight in this game, and the chances that we saw early in this New York derby wasn't really there. And overall, I think if you look at this New York derby, it was definitely not as exciting as the first 2-1, where it was kind of back and forth. Though that being said, in the 41st minute, the last New York derby winner, Omer Fernandez, he almost scored again in this one as he went through on goal, but unfortunately he missed one. And then there was a shout for a penalty from the Red Bulls faithful that was not given in the 42nd minute, before Cornell absolutely robbed Rodriguez from close range. I mean, Team Rodriguez puts this one perfectly, but Cornell with some cat-like reflexes able to rob him there and preserve the Red Bulls a 1-0 lead heading into the second half. So we go to the second half, and in the second half, again, a cagey start to the second half for both teams, as the chances wasn't really there for either of these teams. They mentioned at one point that NYCFC actually have gone 388 minutes without scoring the goal, which is the current longest active streak right now in MLS. And after the end of this game, I think they've gone like 400 plus minutes without scoring a goal, which is a huge shocker. Like, this NYCFC team, with the talent that they have on the attack, this should not be a team that struggle to score goals. And it's just remarkable that they have now gone 4 games without scoring a goal. And again, in this one they were once again keep off the score sheet. In the 71st minute, Klimala had a big opportunity from 20 yards out, but he whiffs that shot. Johnson then denied Klimala in the 73rd minute. I thought Patrick Klimala had a good game in this one. I mean, I'm kind of surprised he did not start in this one, but when he came off the bench, he definitely made a big impact to this Red Bulls team. Before in the 73rd minute, we saw the usual kind of tempers flare that was going on in a New York derby, as Duncan and Thiago kind of had choice words. But what was also kind of interesting was that when both of those guys kind of had some choice words, I think Taylor 12 mentioned the fact that there was kind of a headbutt that was going on between both of these teams, or actually not a headbutt from both of these teams, but more like a headbutt between Thiago and Duncan. And when they show on the replay of the headbutt, yeah, I mean, both of those guys did kind of headbutt each other. And, I guess maybe the reason why both of those guys kind of headbutt each other, maybe that's the reason why there was not a potential red card that was handed out. But at the very least, I was kind of surprised they did not look at this incident, because anytime when you decide to headbutt someone, yeah, you are definitely going to get a red card. And in this instant, I guess maybe that's the reason why neither of these players got the sending off, is because of the fact that both players was just kind of headbutting each other. But that being said, that was kind of very interesting to see, and kind of just shows what the New York derby could sometimes be about. It could sometimes be a very intense kind of game. Although I thought throughout this game it wasn't really as intense as what we've seen in previous New York derby, where the temperature can really get hot. But in the 81st minute, this was probably the best opportunity for NYCFC to score, as Amundsen struck the post on a rocket of a volley. I mean, if that went in, that would have definitely be goal of the week. Before Maxi Morales had a shot that was actually redirected off of Parks and goes right to Cornell. Now, if that one went in, I don't know whether or not if they were going to go back to see whether or not if Keaton Parks is in an offside position, because anytime when you see a player kind of redirect the ball, especially in front of goal, usually they're going to call offside for that, and they didn't really show a replay whether or not if Keaton Parks was in an onside and offside position. I mean, originally the flag actually never went up, so if that actually went in, that goal would have counted. But like I said, I think they probably will go back on the replay to see whether or not if Keaton Parks indeed was onside or not. But in this instance, it didn't really matter because this one was hit right to Cornell. Caceres then puts it high over the bar from long range before Thiago actually went through on goal, but unfortunately he missed wide. As both of these teams was looking for that next crucial goal, and for the Red Bulls, they were looking for that next crucial goal to win this game, whereas for NYCFC was looking for that next crucial goal to tie the game. But in the end, it was the Red Bulls who, of course, score early in this game, courtesy of a Caceres Jr. goal, what turns out to be the winning goal in this game, as they once again walk away with another 1-0 win over their hated intercity rival NYCFC. And the shots in this one, 11 shots compared to 6 that NYCFC had. Both teams had 2 shots on goal, 5 shots off target compared to 4 that NYCFC had, 4 shots that was blocked compared to none that NYCFC had, and possession-wise, 37% possession compared to 63% possession that NYCFC has. And like I said, the Red Bulls, they're coming. Like this team, if they can continue this hot streak that they've been on, I would not be surprised this team would get themselves above the red line. And it's kind of quite remarkable the fact that a couple of weeks ago they looked like they were done in terms of the playoff picture, but all of a sudden with this run that they're on, it seems like they have a big opportunity to get into the playoffs again and extend that streak of making the playoff in 12 consecutive seasons. But unfortunately for their intercity rival NYCFC, they have now dropped below the red line, and I believe this is the first time since early in this season that they have dropped below the red line, and there has to be a lot of concern with this team right now. Like, if this team does not make the playoffs, I had a feeling something's probably going to be changing. I haven't talked about throughout this season, like what I did last season, where I talked about Ronnie Delia, his job could be definitely be in jeopardy. I won't be surprised that could be the case heading into the end of the season, because with the talent that NYCFC had, there is no way this team should be missing the playoffs, and especially with this team spending majority of the year being not only above the red line but challenging for those top 3 spot in the playoffs. This will be an absolute catastrophic collapse, and if this is the case, then I really think Ronnie Delia could potentially be the next head coach that could be faced the axe. In fact, as we speak, heading into next week, don't be surprised. He might even get the axe as soon as tomorrow, because again, anytime when you follow a derby loss, and especially for a team that is on this losing streak and have not scored a goal in such a long period, I think he could be potentially be in trouble if this team does not, at the bare minimum, make the playoffs. But that being said, moving on into the last game on this board, and the last game of match week number 31, which I just finished watching, is the Vancouver Whitecaps versus Sporting KC. So all the action really kind of happened in the first half, because the second half it was kind of a little bit boring until when Sporting KC did kind of try to push for a late equalizer, but they weren't able to do so. But for the Whitecaps, what a big victory that this one is. And it's a shame the fact that I did not bring a Whitecaps jersey, because I know the Red Bulls won today and I want to wear their jersey, but I would have definitely wear the Whitecaps jersey, because this is a huge win for them in terms of their playoff hope, and they were able to stay pace with not only Minnesota and the Galaxy for that playoff position, but they prove in this game that they can definitely go against the big boys that it just seems like maybe before that was a big question about this team. Now, in the first half, there was not really much that was happening in the first 15 minutes. In fact, there was 0 shots that was registered in the first 14 minutes of this game for both teams. The first shots came in the 15 minute when Martins put a shot that just missed high, before there was a shout for a handball by the SKC player that was not given. But in the 23rd minute, we saw the game first goal, and it's Ryan Gull that scores the first goal of the game, as he scored from White and Brown to make it 1-0 in favor of the Whitecaps. And I also kind of wrote, after a slow start, the Whitecaps kind of started to get themselves going, because in the 24th minute they almost made it 2-0 if it wasn't for Melia able to deny goal, his second goal, and the Whitecaps their second goal from long range. But eventually they did get the second goal, and it came in the 37th minute when Russell Tybert, who doesn't score a lot for the Whitecaps, but he scored an absolute laser beam of a goal from Brian White to make it 2-0 in favor of the Whitecaps. And yeah, that is definitely gonna maybe give some contention for goal of the week, because that was just an amazing hit that Russell Tybert of course had. And just like that, the Whitecaps were up 2-0, and I'm starting to kind of give vibes of Seattle versus Houston again, because in some way you could also say that this game was kind of similar to Seattle versus Houston, where you expect the team that is near the top of the Western Conference, which is the road team, to get the victory, but instead it seems like it's the home team that jumps out to the 2-0 lead. And just like the Sounders, where they did get one back right on the stroke of half time, that's the same for Sporting KC, as Johnny Russell would score from Showery to make it 2-1 in favor of the Whitecaps. And I just think, okay, here we go. This is when the Whitecaps or this is when Sporting KC can really turn it on and maybe get themselves the equalizer. They had a chance to do so in the second minute of stoppage time when Walter hits it high from long range, but we do head to halftime with the Whitecaps preserving a 2-1 lead. Now in the second half, once again, really nothing kind of happened in the second half for the first 15 and 20 minutes, as neither team really couldn't create much on the attack. But that's a lot to do with the Whitecaps kind of want to play a game where they're just trying to suffocating this Sporting KC team, not letting them a lot of space to operate. And I thought they did a really good job throughout this game. Brown had a chance in the 71st minute, but he missed wide from close range. And as the time kind of winds down, Vancouver was continuing to sit in this deep shape and continue to try to frustrate the Sporting KC team that really couldn't get a lot going in the second half. But in the 81st minute, Walter did puts it high from 30 yards out, and really SKC throughout the last couple of minutes of the second half, they was really kind of just limited to long range effort. And even though they did try to push for a late equalizer, they weren't able to find it, as the Whitecaps were able to hold on to win 2-1 in this game. And the shots in this one, 9 shots apiece for both teams, 3 shots on goal for both of these teams, 2 shots off target for the 4 that Sporting KC had, 4 shots that was blocked by the 2 that Sporting KC had. And possession-wise, 36% possession compared to 64% possession that Sporting KC had. And like I said, for the Whitecaps, it's a massive victory for them to keep pace with Minnesota and the Galaxy and push some pressure on both of those teams as we head to the latter part of the season. But for Sporting KC, a huge missed opportunity to gain ground on the Sounders, especially with the Sounders losing this week to the Dynamo, and they're going to hope to look to bounce back heading into their next game, which for most of these teams, their next game is going to be on Wednesday. And yeah, I honestly, with the way that I know when I'm going down to Miami, and I'm going to be even more busy and especially be doing some ground hops down there, it is going to be really tough for me to, of course, do preview and also do review and also keep track of these games. But like I said before, before I came to New York and about to go to Miami to go on a bit of a holiday, I'm gonna try my best in terms of keeping track of these games. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to do so, and I'll try my best in terms of once again do something similar to this. Although the next time, of course, you see me, it will be in a different setting, as I'm going to be, as I mentioned, of me going down to Miami tomorrow. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure guys, if you like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of both of these games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.